Aloha. You're watching Top Tech Talent Reemployment Project, where we're supporting those impacted by layoffs and hopefully helping them get and find fulfilling roles at companies they love. Now, I have a special guest today, and it's my career coach, Hector McLaughlin. He's a former HR executive. He's with LHH now. And something we were talking about last week, I was really excited about it. I think you would be too. And I dare say, although it would be clickbait, this is breaking news, but I don't want to go there. So, Hector, January 15th, what's the significance of that date?
Oh, I call it the hockey stick date. So one of the things that most people are not aware of, Peter, is that every year from about a little bit before Thanksgiving through January 15th, every company engages in what's called workforce planning. So HR gets together with the executives, and they do a little bit more than this, but they basically accomplish two things. Number one, based on the goals that we've already achieved, which jobs are we going to eliminate for next year? That was one of the reasons that I hated to go to holiday parties, because I was part of that process. And unfortunately, I couldn't say anything, but I
Yeah.
knew that I was going to rock somebody's world, come January 15th. And the other thing that they try to figure out is, which jobs are we going to create? And what that's based on is based on the past profit that we've had this year, right? How are we going to deploy that capital? Are we going to give it back to our shareholders? Are we going to pocket the money, or are we just going to reinvest in the organization?
Mhm.
It could also be part of, we just got a new round of funding, and with that funding, we're going to have to accomplish these goals. So that's the decision-making process that they go through, and they say, well, with this amount of money, how much building equipment and people are we going to need to be able to accomplish that goal? HR's job is, here's the salary information. Then they bring in financial planning and analysis. Here's what that's going to cost. And then the executives say, all right, let's pull the trigger. So some people experience a couple of things. Hiring managers that have had a job that's been posted all year and not filled, and they're rushing at the end of the year, the last quarter, to fill that position so that it'll be funded, because otherwise next year it won't be funded.
Yeah.
And then they position themselves also for, when does the hiring start? So when HR and financial planning and analysis and the executives agree on what jobs they're going to have, then they start posting them. And that process happens really right after January the 15th. That's the beginning of the year, is the most active hiring season. And that tends to go all the very, very active all the way through July the 4th. From around July the 4th to the end of August, people are going on vacation. So while they're still hiring, there's that 6 week lull that happens. And then in September, they come back from vacation, and then they just keep going hard until about Thanksgiving, a little bit more hiring between Thanksgiving and December. And that's the natural cycle that people that are looking for a job should be aware of. So it's coming up right around the corner, and you're going to see, and I'm already seeing it with my clients. Man, I'm interviewing, I'm getting offers, right? And it's happening. What people need to really keep in mind is that, okay, so Hector, you're telling me that job was actually funded and created in order to be able to meet a goal. Yes. And that's the thing that you as a candidate should be focusing on. In an interview, there's three things that they want to establish. Number one, can I get along with you? Right? Number two, can you do the job? But then the third item is, are you able to help me meet my goals? And people don't ask you that question, especially if they like you as a candidate, because they're assuming that you just went to the website and read what's there, and you honestly have no idea what they're trying to accomplish as a goal, right? So they don't want to embarrass you. They don't want to give you the deer in the headlight look. So they don't even ask. But if you are interviewing with a hiring manager, especially after, January 15th, and you do a little bit of research in D&B Hoovers and you tease out what the goals are going to be for that company, when you get to, hey, Peter, do you have any questions for me? Yeah. I was looking at D&B Hoovers and I saw your financials relative to others. I saw your strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats, your SWOT analysis. I saw your analyst statements. It seems to me that you're trying to accomplish this goal. Can you confirm that for me? And what you'll see is their eyes are going to get big. First of all, nobody's talked about this. I guarantee you that if you do this, you're 0.00001% of all the candidates. And the very likely response that you're going to get the majority of the time is they'll say, yeah, you're right. At a high company level, that is what we're trying to accomplish. But then they'll tell you, for this department in this position, here is what the goal means in helping the organization get there. And while they're telling you this, then you go back and you say, well, based on you're thinking this, based on my past experience and my contributions and accomplishments, then you tell them, here is how I can help you meet your goals. And I've only had this done to me 5 times as a hiring manager in HR. I've only had somebody do this to me 5 times in 25 years. I talked to a senior executive at General Mills and asked them the same question, and he said 0. And he had hired thousands of people. So timing is important, but also being able to tell an employer not only what the size of the problem is that you can solve, what the value is that you bring to the table, but also your ability to help them meet their goals. That's the essential purpose of why every job is out there. Nobody just posts a job to say, well, I don't have any goals, got nothing to do, but we think we'll create a job and hire somebody. It's all tied to a goal. So if you keep that in mind, everything else being held equal, you're going to nail the job.
Gold, folks. I don't need to add anything else. I really appreciate that, Hector. So if you didn't get the story, there should be an influx of opportunities coming in the coming weeks and months. Make sure you do your research, particularly in what their future goals are for the year. And then subsequently be able to tell them exactly how you can help them reach those goals. Would that be a good summary there, Hector?
That is. And let me add just one last thing, which is a misconception that people have. Just because a job isn't posted doesn't mean a job doesn't exist. Okay. There's a thing called the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. And in any company with over 100 employees, worst case scenario, 20% of the employees are creating 80% of the problems. So what that means to you as somebody that's looking for a job, even if you have high unemployment, okay, companies are always searching for talent. That never ends. If you're the person that lays the golden egg, right, then they're going to want to hire you.
Yeah, for sure. And you had even mentioned, we were talking last time around kind of some of the challenges I've been having, and reinforced the fact that that perfect company and perfect job is also out there looking for me. We just haven't crossed paths yet.
Exactly. If they don't know where you're at, I guarantee you that there's 2 or 3 people looking for you right now. They need you. They want to hire you. But they don't know who you are and where you're at. And that's your job, is to let them know, here's who I am, here's where I'm at.
One of the reasons I do this little program, Hector, and I really, really appreciate you joining me today during our regular weekly meeting. Take Hector's advice, folks, and get yourself that job. For my career coach, Hector, I'm Peter. This is the Reemployment Project for top tech talent that are out there. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing.
Happy hunting.
Yes.